Hey guys, Lucci here from Kaizen Talks, and this is the Kaizen Martial Arts Show 10th interview. I've got a really special guest tonight. Difference is it's 87 degrees where he is, and it's freezing cold where I am, and it's absolutely pissing it down with rain. He's a JKD guy, stroke, combative, reality-based instructor. He founded Progressive Martial Arts back in 1999. You guys have seen him all over the internet. He's been all over the place. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Brown. Billy, welcome, mate, and thanks for agreeing to talk to me, mate. I'm
honored to be here.
Nice one. Billy, let's get straight to it. Right, so what are you currently doing at the moment now? You're in Florida, yeah? You're teaching there in Florida. You've tell us all about, what's going off in your life at the moment.
Okay, yeah, we moved here almost a year ago, and we moved here right before we was going to totally sidelines our plans. So we couldn't teach when we moved here. We had a school, we had everything. We kind of lost all of that because the landlords didn't want to deal with people when that happened. Yeah. So it just a sideline of plans. The guy had the Progressive Productions video company, and that kept us afloat, for this last year. But now we currently do have a great location, and we are now starting to teach full time again. So things are looking up.
Oh man, that's brilliant. Like the UK, the States, I think the States have had it a little bit worse than us guys with the pandemic, and I've seen a lot of clubs in the UK unfortunately have to close down and finish, and I'm sure you're getting all that in the States as well. But yeah, we need to be positive, and we need to.
We're lucky here in Florida because some states are still closed down. I mean, so this really hurt martial arts schools. It breaks my heart when I see martial arts schools being forced to close their doors.
Same here, mate. We've had it. It's hit our industry really bad. I think
really bad. Yes. Because we're not essential.
No, I know. We just improve people's lives. That's all we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay then, mate. So I want to talk about first JKD. I just want to get this off my chest, okay? I don't know what it's like in the States, but over here in the United Kingdom, the politics in martial arts, it's always been there, hasn't it? But I think JKD has got it really bad.
It's bad.
The politics in Jeet Kune Do is really, really bad, I think. Bruce didn't do this. Bruce wouldn't do this. You're doing that wrong. And wow, is it the same in the States though?
Probably worse.
Probably worse. Yeah, definitely.
This is the thing. It's when a founder dies so young, you're going to have the decision because he didn't really set the guidelines. He was 32 years old. He didn't set the guidelines on how he wanted his art to be ran after his death. He didn't ever set that up.
No.
So people were unsure about what direction to go, and it developed into a thing today where most JKD people tend to want to play JKD instead of train JKD.
Yes.
So you have people playing JKD, being associated with the Bruce Lee name, but they're not getting their ass out there and training. No. You can tell with the way they teach the art, and you can tell with the way they perform the art. You can tell right away that you're devoting more time to your keyboard than you are to actually get in the gym. Don't care about what other people are doing in building your legacy.
Okay. Bit of interference, mate, but we'll carry on. Like I said, guys, Billy's in sunny Florida while we're all here freezing. Okay, so you might freeze now and again, so don't worry, we'll get him back, and please keep listening. Probably the closest thing to Bruce Lee in today's arts is a guy I know you respect, and you've done a lot of training with Guru, Danny, and Santo. Now, I've seen him at seminars, and all I can say is head fryer. He absolutely fried my head, and I've heard the same from a lot of people. Now, I don't know if he did that on purpose, because he knows, we're not JKD guys, but
no, that's just the way he is.
Yeah.
He's got so much up here that he wants to give you, and he's so humble with what he shares.
Yeah.
That it just comes out that way. The first time I trained with him, I kept looking at me. This was like 20 years ago almost. I kept looking at my partner and going, "Did you get that?" Because I didn't get it, And we were both doing that back and forth.
One of his students, Billy, I'm sure you know, Rick Young in Edinburgh, in Scotland. About 2015, some of us, a group of us, went up there. We did a charity seminar. In my opinion, Rick Young is probably number one in British martial arts as multi-styled martial artist. Definitely. Rick Young's number. He's up there big time. And do you know what he said? He said to us, he says, "I'm nothing compared to Guru, Danny, and Santo." And I'm like, "You're probably like in the top three of the whole United Kingdom, probably Europe's top three." And you're saying that it is. So there you go. Like, you got that world-class martial art level, ain't you, with your Guru, Ian Santo. Then I think them guys, Guru and Santo, is a couple of steps up from that. And yeah.
Well, I told you earlier that like I've only spent seminar time with Guru. But these guys that spent personal time with him, it seems like they're all very humble. And they're all because Guru Dan is the most humble martial artist you will ever train with. No signs of ego, no signs of pride. He's got pride, but not overwhelming you. He wants you to know that, hey, I'm here to share with you. He's an amazing example for us. And he really, training with him in 2001 was the first time, I believe. 2001, 2002. I was already a bouncer for 5 or 6 years, so I'd already been experienced with violence. I was heavily into PFS, Paul Vunak, heavily into that material. So when I went in there, I brought the ego, and I'm the badass. I was a kid. I was 22 years old, something like that, So he showed me right away that you can have the beautiful side of the martial arts, and you can have the badass side of understanding violence. But you can combine them, and you can put your feet in both sides of that.
Okay.
And that's really after that, because of him, really, I can do the martial arts. I can do the high kicking. I can do the pretty stuff. I can teach you the art and the beauty of the art, but I can also flip that switch and show you how to bite an ear off if you need to.
Nice. Yeah, that's the one.
See my point?
That's the one. That's why I like Billy Brown. That's why what I look for. When you do martial art expos, you've gotta sort of look at everything and make sure everything is catered for. Do you know what I mean? We need a Tai Chi guy. We need someone teaching the traditional arts. We need people who are teaching a reality-based kind of style arts. We need your weapon guys. We need your high fly kicking, spinning back kick, taekwondo guys, and you need all that. And what I like to do with the guys, I like to look for it, and it needs to be different. It's got to be different, because I want to be separated from everybody else. And that's how you've come out to, not just me. I've heard a lot of guys say the same thing. You sort of like got this raw material. I thought you was British, honestly. First, I was like, no, he's not. He's not American. He can't be. No way. Because I've always said, British martial arts is the best in the world, man. We've got the thing. No disrespect to the United States here. We have this problem in England as well, where you've got your self-promoted 10th degree black belts who's 24 years old, and this you know, and but America's got it really bad. You guys have got it really, really bad.
Really bad. Really bad. And you know, I don't care what you call yourself, but if you can't perform at that level, don't call yourself that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I just call myself a black belt now.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you guys have some you guys have some grandfathers that started the path for us. Jeff Thompson, that guy to me is golden.
Yeah.
Golden.
First met him in 1997.
Yeah.
And he changed. He inspired a generation of, you know, he got up, he stood up, then he says, look, you know, we're doing it all wrong here. We're doing it all wrong. You know, I've been training, I've been doing karate for years and doing it all wrong. And yeah, he's the best. He's the best of the best, and is a great guy. I've got a lot of his books and great time for him. Along with that, we've got,
Jeff sent me like 5 autographed books, like 10 years ago.
Yes,
autographed. I still got them. I mean, they're he's a great guy. But we were also talking about Rick Young earlier, and Rick, humble, like you say, but yeah, I agree with you. He's on the top of the food chain. At this level right now in my life, I've seen more violence than most of the people that I look up to. And it's not, I'm not bragging about that, but I threw myself in that for 20 years, every night, some years. So I don't look at people anymore as, wow, he's brutal and can kick all this ass. I look at people, how can they share the knowledge to another person and develop them into kicking all that ass?
Yeah, exactly.
And Rick Young is definitely one of those people that can do that.
Yeah, dangerous guy, but a lovely chap along with it. There's a lot of them. My favorite people, them guys, honestly, really cool. So let's touch on what your progress martial arts. How did all that start back in '99? How did all that begin? Because it's grown and grown and grown. Your website's brilliant, and you've got a fantastic film library there with absolutely everything. Like you said earlier, you know, I think you're the only JKD guy I know who puts fighting in there too. You know, so how did all that start?
Yeah. Well, this is all I've ever done. I started teaching martial arts professionally at 16.
Wow.
At 17, I actually moved into my mentor. Really, he's my closest friend, my mentor, into his dojang. He's a Taekwondo grandmaster. Yeah. So that's where my traditional side comes from. So I moved into his dojang, and I slept on his floor for a year when I was 17, and just got up, cleaned the school, taught classes all day. I lived and breathed it my whole life. My father was my first martial arts instructor. He started me at 3 years old.
Yeah.
And my father was a combative guy. He did a blend of Goju, karate, a little bit of Wing Chun, and just some, a little bit of knife. And so I've never known another lifestyle than the martial art lifestyle, because that was the only thing that connected me to my father, was the martial arts. So when he died, I went through a huge depression. I was 11 years old, 12 years old. I went through a huge depression, and my mom knew that, well, the connection is the martial arts. So one day I didn't want to go to school. It was bad. I just wanted to sleep all day. So she threw a phone book at me and she goes, pick a martial arts school. You're going to class tomorrow. So I picked the martial arts school, and the rest is history. That's really what started it there.
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. So obviously that's going great for you. So let's touch again right from the beginning. You say your dad taught you as a kid. What other arts did you play around with?
Well, up until my dad taught me what and I never had that adult conversation with him. He never put names to the arts he did, but he'd wake me up in the morning and put training knives in my hand that he made in the shop and teach me knife fighting, and we would he would make me put my cowboy boots on, and he would take me out back. And I'm from Louisiana, New Orleans, so in Louisiana we have huge oak trees, and he would just make me kick the oak tree over and over, and he'd say, "Boy, you never train kicking without your boots on." He used to always tell me that. And so that was my experience there. So after he passed, I picked a Taekwondo school. I didn't know the difference. Like if that would have been today, I would have said, no way, I'm not doing no damn Taekwondo.
Yeah.
But then I didn't know the difference. So luckily, the school I picked was from a man, Grandmaster Bob Harding, and he had a handicap. He had a polio as a child. So really, the whole right side of his body was paralyzed.
Yeah.
His right arm was just kept in a leather brace, and it was tiny. His left arm was huge. So he never got into all of the pretty. He just wanted to learn how to whip somebody's ass because he had a handicap basically,
Yeah.
and he was very good at that. So I was lucky to get with him where he just taught hit hard, hit fast, so I was very lucky with that. Well, not COVID, just a cough. So what happened with that at 14 years old, I was already a second degree black belt at 14 years old. I could jump and kick basketball nets and rims. I mean, I was very athletic, super fast. I've always been super fast.
Yeah.
And so I got in a fight with a 17-year-old kid. And I sidekicked him in the ribs and buckled him. And I said, "Oh, I got him." And I sidekicked him again. He grabbed my leg and he flipped me over. And he got behind me and just punched me in the head like 10 times till it was broke up. He didn't hurt me, but he broke my ego. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I was like, I've been training this and I just got whipped by this nobody. I'm like, I'm fixing to quit. I mean, so I walked into the dojang one day, all my head down, my ego busted, and I see this kind of short, older, rounder, kind of gray-haired man choking people with sticks and grabbing them and elbowing them in the face. And I walked up to him and I'm like, "I'm your student." And his name is Guro Ron Goen. And I have to give a shout out to him too.
Yeah, man. Go for it.
And he is a great combatives guy, trained with some heavy hitters, trained with Leo Gahe for many years, Remy Prius, trained with them all. So he opened up my eyes to the combative side, but not just that. If it wasn't for him, I never would have went Jeet Kune Do. I never would have went to experience Kali. I never would have did all of the other stuff I did if it wasn't for him. He opened my mind up. And I got so hungry that I just looked for that knowledge everywhere. And that's how it started.
Wow. Great story, man. Great story. Nice one. Nice one. So you've never been to England, yeah? You've been everywhere, but you've not come here. Too cold for you. Too cold for you.
Yeah, it's been talked about more than once.
Yeah.
It's just we never could finalize it and stuff.
Yeah.
But I know we have sold hundreds of videos in the UK. In fact, we just sold like 3 yesterday. Wow. So I know that I have a fan base there.
You do.
Germany.
Yeah. I think the whole of Europe. You've got a big fan base in Europe. Really have, and you have done for a long time. We will definitely try and make it happen. I'm quite confident I can make it happen. Yeah, definitely. Anything's possible. I mean, it's only a 10-hour flight. That's it, and you're here.
Yeah.
That's it.
I went to Hawaii in 2019, and that took like what? How long was the hour flight? We went to Hawaii. We were like 15 hours on a plane.
Yeah, there you go. So it's only 10 hours away. That's it. And we are, man. I'm already been talks with Billy for a UK tour, which will be awesome. So club, guys, get in touch. Let's make this happen. Let's get him over. Basically, I'm doing these kind of talks just for people who are involved in Kaizen, instructors, sponsors, etc. and future prospects coming over, and hence the reason why you're here. And it's been awesome talk to you. But what would Bruce Lee say if he was about you? What would Bruce Lee say about Billy Brown? Bit of a random question there, man. But
well, I like that question. This is the thing. Before I answer that question, let me say this about Sifu Danon Asano, Guro Danon Asano. I believe he is the only one who did exactly what Bruce Lee asked.
Yeah, all right.
I really did. And he gets so much. I used to try to defend him online. He doesn't need to be defended. I mean, but he gets so much slack online about he's watered down Jeet Kune Do because he loves other arts. That's insane. That I never understood that. I had a Jeet Kune Do guy about 2-3 years ago. He's pretty popular on YouTube, got a huge following. He was watching one of my kicking videos, not Jeet Kune Do. It was a video on kickboxing.
Yeah. And
he sent me a message, this guy. He goes, "You're an awesome martial artist, but Bruce Lee would never kick above the knee. I thought you was a real Jeet Kune Do guy." That's what he told me.
Oh, right.
And I'm just like, you've missed the boat completely. Bruce Lee was about training. He was about training. That dude in his own personal life, nearly every video we have of him training, he was doing high kicks.
Yeah.
Every video. You know why? Because he understood that if you can kick good high, you can kick better in the balls or in the knee.
Yeah.
It's all a training tool. It's the training tool. I've never used push-ups, but I still do push-ups, even though I've never used them in a fight.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've never been attacked.
Yeah.
I've never been attacked by a guy wearing mitts in his hands, but yet we still hit mitts.
Yeah.
So they don't get it. They missed the boat.
As a jiu-jitsu teacher, Bruce Lee, I know Bruce Lee, he liked his jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu in JKD, and it's Japanese jiu-jitsu. Yes. You
gotta really in America, you have to really say the difference.
Yeah, I'm working on a project at the moment, and I googled something. I can't say nothing yet, but there was a word jiu-jitsu spelt JU hyphen, at least I would put it in JITSU. Dominated, BJJ, dominated. And I get all the time, you've spelt jiu-jitsu wrong. I'm like, well, we all are really, because the correct terminology is jiu-jitsu, right? That's the correct terminology. So we all are. I'm like, when people say, I remember years ago, I put an advert in the paper, and the guy rang me, says, and I rang him up, and I says, my advert's not in the paper. What's going on? Oh, you spelt jiu-jitsu wrong. I'm like, fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. So
and the problem
I've got time for BJJ. They are. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't think it's very street, but it is what it is. It's
not. It's a sport. It's a sport.
It's a good. People will argue that BJJ is basically just judo, which does make me laugh. That does.
I've done judo for 25 years, and it's nothing like the BJJ I've seen.
Yeah, I know.
If I had to give you an ingredient for the best grappling systems for the street,
okay, let's talk about that. Go on.
Yeah, it would include Western wrestling. That would be in there. It would include catch wrestling, which the UK, it would include judo. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Those things are not. You can make them sport focused, but at their core, they're not sport focused at all. BJJ is always sport focused. Does that mean that it won't save your ass on the street? Sure, because arts don't win fights. Superior people win fights.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with that.
Fair enough, man. Yeah. Fair enough. Tell me about your bouncer days when you was a bouncer.
Well, I started working.
Did you get a lot of scraps, fights?
Well, I started working club doors when I just turned 18. And the reason why is because I opened up my martial arts school when I just turned 18, and I had no clue how to run a business. So I needed to substitute the money to pay for the business. And I'm like, well, I can fight. I started on Bourbon Street in New Orleans at 18. First week, I saw like 3 stabbings, someone get glassed, bricked, jumped, and it blew me. It made me feel like I was a peon. Yeah. It made me feel like I knew nothing. So right away, I was thrown into that other side of the game, so to speak. And in that side of the game, it forces you to learn quickly how to register and understand how to manage violence, or it forces you to get out of that game.
Yeah.
So 20 years later, I wish I would have got out of that game.
Yeah. I didn't.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of violence.
Yeah. Good.
Go ahead.
You do. I was gonna say I spent only 5 years on the door, and that was enough for me.
Well, that's enough.
It wasn't
that's
all.
Enough.
Yeah, I worked on some really like shitholes as well, man. Really proper like shitholes. I lost a tooth, couple of stab wounds. Nothing major, you know.
Yeah.
Wasn't all that bad. I met my wife when I was working on the door. That was like 19.
I met my wife working on the door also.
Yeah, it wasn't all that bad. I got something.
No, I got a wife out of the deal. I got lots of scars, lots of injuries, chronic pain, and a wife.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I don't regret it completely. What I do regret is the time I spent. I wish I would have got out after a decade.
Yeah.
I still get I get emails from Florida now because they know my name in that industry, because the last 12 years I managed security teams in major clubs.
Mm.
They're trying to pull me back into the game. I'll still do like a special event. I'll do like something like that. But as far as working every night again, I'll never do it. But what that time did give me was a different outlook to teach my students than most instructors have. Yeah. Most instructors, let's be real, they've never seen real violence. So a lot of them are just with paper tigers, so to speak.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, they want to teach you their theory on what would stop bad guys, but they have no facts related to that theory. That's the problem with BJJ. When BJJ instructors talk about BJJ being such a combative and street art, I always ask them, how many altercations have you been in? And they always say none. Or, oh yeah, I was in a few in college or in high school, So I don't care what art you teach, as long as you've put in either the experience or the time learning from people with the experience.
Mm.
And there you go. Because I don't wish anybody to learn how to manage violence the way I did. I do not wish that on anyone. I regret it. I mean, I've had injuries that nearly ended my career. Yeah. I have one that happened 10 years ago that I will be in pain the rest of my life. The rest of my life. And the doctor said I'd never walk again. I didn't walk for 15 months. 15 months. And maybe we'll tell that story in a second. It's a fun story. But my point is, you don't need to get it that way. What you need is an instructor who understands violence, but more importantly, understands how to give it to you, that knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree, mate. Absolutely, totally agree. I've lost my thought now, man. I was just like, tell me the story about your injury, and that question will come back. It's come back now, but why are we here? So yeah.
I've had a couple of really bad altercations.
Okay.
One that I thought that I was going to die, but the worst injury, I didn't think I was going to die, but it's the worst injury, was I was working a pub in a big. Keep in mind, the last decade or 12 years of my career as a doorman, I worked in a huge college town.
Right. Okay.
Huge football, MMA schools everywhere, and a lot of cocaine.
Yeah. Like UK, we call them student nights. They're fucking menace, man. Absolutely are. The absolute menace.
I have walked into clubs before with 200 people on the floor. Every one of them coked out of their minds.
Yeah. And do you know when you kick them out, they guarantee you their dad's a lawyer. And you're going to be sacked. That's
happened.
Oh man, they're absolute student nights for them in the UK. They're absolute menace. Yeah. I remember.
this one night, I was actually, it was a slow night. It was pouring down rain. This was in Nashville, Tennessee. It was pouring down rain. Well, I say Nashville. It's a little town called Murfreesboro. I don't know if you've never heard of Murfreesboro. It's right outside of Nashville, a big ass town. I mean, I think they're at like 500,000 people now. That's for a town.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? It's starting to look like Nashville, to be honest with you. But anyway, we were working a college, and I started drinking. I said, I'm clocking out. Y'all don't need me. I was outside, just walked out with a beer in my hand, and right away I see a guy rip a beer bottle out of a young girl's mouth and break her 2 front teeth with the beer. But he ripped it out of her hand and chipped her teeth. I put my beer down, and I grabbed him and just elbowed him. I never seen him again that night. I hit him so hard he went into oblivion, it seemed like. But as soon as I did, in a freak accident, my leg, because it was raining, we were under a little deck, but the wind was pushing the rain on us still, and we had just painted the deck like two days ago.
Yeah.
So it felt like an ice rink. So when I hit him, my right leg slipped and my rectus femoris blew up. And the muscle, my quad, the biggest muscle in your leg, and it rolled 7 inches where it still sits today. I didn't get surgery. Okay. And I dropped to one knee, and I thought my knee exploded. I didn't know it was the quad. Thank God. I don't know which would have been worse, the knee or the quad. Probably the knee. But I'm like, well, his 3 friends got on me and started just raining punches down on me. They didn't know that I was injured. They thought I just slipped. And I'm like, y'all win. I give up. Take me to the hospital. They didn't know all. So they're just punching me. One guy got behind me and he's choking me. Thank God he didn't know what the hell he was doing. All right. He would have put me out probably. So my whole mind, I'm in the most searing pain I've ever been in. And I'm like, I got to end this. So I index my my Emerson folder I had. I flipped it over to reverse grip. And the next punch that came in, I ran it right through his hand. And it went through the web of his hand. And he looks, and blood's everywhere. And he's been drinking all night, so his blood was super thin. And it was mixed with the rain. So the whole deck looked like a bloody mess. But it was just it was a poke through his hand. But it looked like a bloody mess. So his friends and his friends never seen the knife. I hit it back behind me. And his friends thought I like gutted him, because as soon as he saw his hand, he passes out like a little pansy. And his friends thought I killed him, so they ran away. They thought so my people that was with me got me to the car, got me to the hospital. Well, the next day, the police come over and they ruled it self-defense. They saw my leg was this big. And there's pictures on my website of it. My leg and my calf muscle was black because the quad was bleeding down my calf, inside of my calf. You see? Yeah. So they ruled it self-defense. Plus they had video to back it up and stuff like that. But that was my worst injury for sure. And I still deal with that injury every day. Yeah.
We carry them, don't we?
Yeah.
Most people don't know. Yeah.
Most people don't know that I only have one good leg. They don't know. I have lots of limitations now, but I'll never show my sparring partners.
You keep doing that. You keep Who do you like in the UK? Who inspires you in the UK? What UK martial art coaches?
Well, obviously Rick Young.
Yeah, we spoke about Jeff Thompson earlier. Yeah.
But Jeff Thompson and Lee Morrison. I love that guy. Yeah. I came to the game kind of late with Lee because I don't know how long he had been out. I just didn't see him. I was really just focusing on Jeff Thompson's material and stuff like that. So 2014 or 2015, right when we were filming my first Fight Stoppers. Now you watched Fight Stoppers Unhinged, didn't you?
Yeah.
Second Fight Stoppers?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant. Highly recommended, guys. Definitely highly recommended. I'll just quickly get this out of the way, Billy, and we'll come back to Lee Morrison. Billy, if you post the link when this is out, post the link. Billy's videos are highly recommended. If you like that raw, get in there, get your teeth stuck in, kind of like I do. Then you're gonna love Billy's stuff, and you'll see what I mean when I said earlier, I thought Billy Brown was British when I first discovered him. Well, we've spoken for many years online and things like that, but yeah, and I generally thought he was British, but yeah, he's not. He's an American. He's an American kid. Yeah, you're right. Lee Morrison he's probably in the easily when I'm talking about self-defense reality.
Matters, yeah.
Probably in my opinion, top 3, top 5, and he's been up there. Yeah, he has been for years. You know, we're the UK. We're quite blessed. We're blessed with really good.
Y'all are. Yeah.
Self-defense teachers really are.
And that's why the UK has been on my bucket list to come there and not only to teach, but to experience it.
Yeah. We are really lucky. Again, something I'm proud to say that they, the British self-defense. I think it's the world's best. It's really, really cool. We've got some cracking instructors. Really are. Well,
you really do.
Massive damage, and it's only going to be a matter of time till the world of martial arts gets to see him. They probably are now. And
the real martial artists already know that.
Well, yeah,
they already know Jeff Thompson.
Jeff Thompson, Lee Morrison. They're I would say them two are the world leading at the moment. Always have been more Lee because he's doing more stuff. Than
Jeff kind of retired from that a little bit.
Yeah, it's gold, isn't it, man? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But Lee, it was funny. I was filming the first Fight Stoppers, and I saw a video of Lee, and he started saying almost identical to what I was saying in my video. And at first, I was like, "Who is this guy? Did he order the video already?" And he's already. So I started researching him, and obviously, I found out that our paths are just very similar. Our paths are just similar, you know.
Yeah. Great minds, isn't it? Great minds think.
But he's one that I still enjoy very much just to watch and listen to, and
yeah. They're both inspiring guys, man. Really, really, really cool, man. So as I said before, we're looking at getting Billy over here for June. We want this COVID to, like in the States as well, we just want it to piss and go, don't we, man? Do you know what I mean? So once that's done,
are y'all able to teach and stuff?
Are
y'all able to teach?
Me, I don't teach. I don't teach on the Expo. No, I'm too busy. Okay. A lot of people says, "Are you going to teach?" I'll never teach on my Expo. No, never.
No, what I mean though is like, are martial arts schools able to conduct classes right now in the UK? Are y'all clear from all that?
We're on a national lockdown, unfortunately. Started, great new year for the UK. We're in a lockdown. It's weird, Billy, because my class in the first lockdown back in March, my classes just went right down. I was losing a load of members. We was allowed back into class, and it went right up, and that little bit more. And I think it was because things like Cobra Kai, it's just come onto our UK Netflix, and it's inspiring another generation of martial arts.
Funny.
Yeah,
I have so much. I have two different views on Cobra Kai. I love that they did it. But it's so funny to me that they've built this big, like even from the original Karate Kids back in the 80s that we grew up to, they built this empire on a martial arts movie and series when nobody is really a martial artist in the movie and series.
I interviewed a guy called Chris Jones, who's he's got a really good podcast here in the UK called Kickback with Chris, and he's interviewed me a few times, and it was a bit weird me interviewing, and we spoke about Cobra Kai because he's been in a few films himself, and he's a stunt like fighter, and he's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of martial art films and material, and we spoke about the Cobra Kai, and you're quite right, although it's really piss poor and cheesy, our generation watch it purely because we grew up on
That's right.
We grew up on Johnny. We grew up on the old Karate Kid thing. That's why we watch it. And at the same time, you've got this new. Our children are watching it, but you know they're not. Oh man.
So
it stops with me. But
so anything positive for our the martial arts is good.
It's positive for the industry. Yeah, it's great for our industry. Yeah, it's needed. Yeah, Bruce Lee inspired in the 70s. You know, Bruce Lee, he inspired a mass generation of martial artists in a time where you only had probably karate clubs and kung fu clubs. That was it. That was really it. You know, other arts, there wasn't that many, was there? You know,
you had traditional arts and you had boxing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I
whenever you talk about Bruce Lee, people tend to forget the time period.
Yeah.
I hate those things that go, okay, could Bruce Lee, how would a 1972 Bruce Lee do against a St. Pierre of today in the cage? I hate these discussions.
Yeah.
Because they get nowhere.
Yeah.
It's two different things we're talking about. You know,
not
to mention the time period. The training back then was very differently. The technology we didn't have YouTube. They didn't have YouTube to study other people's material. Yeah. You know, you couldn't just hop a plane and visit all these different instructors like we can do today, or drive to a seminar. You couldn't do none of that.
No.
You know?
No.
So yeah.
With me, I watched the film premiere in the UK, the film premiere of Enter the Dragon when I was about 8 years old.
Wow.
That got me. I nearly didn't watch it because it was on a school night, and my mother wanted me in bed, and it was on quite late. My older brothers, who were martial artists and already black belts, already jiu-jitsu black belts, convinced my mum for me to watch Enter the Dragon. The next day, I went to school. I practiced all the moves on my mates, and there was one guy. There was one of my friends who did karate, and he said, "Come to this karate class with me." I started karate, and I didn't even know that Bruce Lee was a kung fu guy. I didn't know that it was kung fu. All I saw is this fucking rock hard guy kick the shit out of absolutely everybody with his like awesome kicks and awesome punches, and it was just a fucking badass. The characters in Enter the Dragon, and unbelievable. So
you know, that movie changed the way that movie was a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, massive deal. Change it. Yeah.
You know, his contributions are overlooked today.
Yeah.
But his contributions to martial arts as a whole, it was very, I mean, you know, he did a lot of, training with kicking shields, training with running shoes.
Yeah.
That's all stuff that we do today, but he revolutionized all that.
And he still makes front cover of a lot of martial art media.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's been dead years and years, and he still makes front cover of martial arts media. So yeah.
And what people don't know is that Guro Osano was a big part of that too, because see, he would introduce this stuff to Bruce, and Bruce would act like he didn't like it, but he would take the stuff home and think about it and come back, with drills set up like running shoes. Bruce used to wear these clunky boots when he trained, these kung fu boots, and they were so hard. And Sifu Dan was a real big into sports, and football, running, track, everything. So he'd give him a pair of sneakers, say, try these on. He liked those better. The kicking shield, the kicking shields we use today that you could buy at any martial arts supplier, that was a football tackling shield that Sifu Dan bought from his school for Bruce to kick on. Wow. So a lot of stuff like that.
Wow, absolutely, wow, fantastic. It's great history. You know what? Like when I know a lot of friends. I've got a lot of friends here in the UK who fly over and go and spend some. So they'll fly from UK, go to the States, and spend a lot of time with Guro Dan, and come back. Unbelievable! It's the closest thing you're going to get to Bruce Lee, far as I'm concerned. I was lucky enough. I I've trained with Richard Bostello a few times, and I had a whole weekend with him, and you know, although my JKD is not that good, but it was just I wanted to always say that, yeah, I've trained with Richard Bostello. That's the close.
Richard's kind of my lineage because my instructor, Ron Gowen, I talked about him earlier. He was one of Richard's students. So that's where he got his Jeet Kune Do from. So that's kind of my lineage. You know, he was also, are you familiar with the Filipino martial arts thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So so Ron Gowen's kind of, heck, I think he even lived with Leo Gahe when Leo Gahe was in Nashville for a while. So the Piketty Tertia was kind of my first influence. But all those kind of led me to more of Sifu Dan. And then, you know, I tell you, through the 90s, I spent a lot of time with Joe Louis. And Joe Louis really, he was a real straightforward, no bullshit, no kind of guy, you know. And he really kind of changed the things too. I mean, I've never seen somebody to this day who could cut a ring off and put you in a corner as fast as that guy could. And I still find myself using the footwork that I learned from him in the 90s. I still do it to this day. You know, it just stuck with me, you know?
Yeah. Awesome. Billy, I could talk to you all night. Billy Brown, guys, JKD, raw JKD. That's all I can describe it as. He's got a savage system. It really is. It's got everything in there. It really. You reality-based self-defense guys, you'll like it. You generally will like it. It's really JKD with biting, fighting, gauging, fucking elbows. Let's get stuck in. Let's have a proper scrap. That's basically the best way I can describe Billy Brown. And yeah, man, we're going to be looking forward to getting him over the pond over here.
It's going to happen.
Taking him all over the country, man, and getting him in clubs. Billy Brown, it's been an honor.
I'm honored
for your time. Okay, and we'll see you soon. I want to give you the final words. Any final words for your fans in the UK and the people?
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. The UK has been on the bucket list, like I said, for a while, and it's actually been in the talks a couple times with different groups there, but we just never could finalize it and never could, you know. But it's going to happen, you know. Maybe if not this year, for sure, 2022.
Yeah, I think when all this is over, man, I think people are just going to be like, well, we want it, and there's going to be so much energy, aren't they? You know, I can't wait already to get back into out there. It's just crazy.
Well, I can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be a blast.
Definitely.
So yeah, just you know, look me up if you guys want to get some videos, www.proactionvideos.com.
Then they're highly recommended, guys. Highly recommended. Billy Brown, thank you.